Hello, and welcome to York Observatory's monthly TeleTube broadcast, the online astronomy and astrophysics program written and presented by the students, faculty, alumni, and friends of York University. We are broadcasting live from the Elaina Carswell Observatory located at York University in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. York TeleTube broadcasts every last Friday of the month at 7:30 p.m. local Toronto time right here on our YouTube channel. For any questions or comments you have about our past shows, or if you have any suggestions for future topics, please send us an email at observe@yourview.ca. For social media, you can always connect with us on PixelFed, Instagram, and Facebook. We would like to inform you about the Summer 2026 Astronomer in Residence program. This program is a collaboration between the Elaina Carswell Observatory and Killarney Provincial Park to host astronomers at the certified dark sky site of Killarney and lead in-person presentations and shows using the park's observatory. To learn more about the program, visit our website at yorku.ca/science/observatory/AIR. Currently, we have Sana Withers and Anna Skrinick as astronomers in residence. Follow along their adventures at Killarney on our website at yorku.ca/science/observatory/AIR/astronomer-in-residence-blog. Good evening, everyone. My name is Arthana, and I'm here with Mona, Athena, and Shreya from the Elaina Carswell Observatory at York University. We're excited to welcome you tonight and are pleased to host our guest speaker, Dr. Elaina Hyde, who will be talking about the 2026 Astrofair being held at York University. The observatory at York campus is in Toronto, and we would like to welcome you all to our show and to acknowledge the traditional land that our telescope is on. The observatory acknowledges its presence on the traditional territory of many Indigenous nations. The area known as Tikaronto has been caretaken by the Anishinaabe Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, the Huron-Wendat, and the Métis. It is now home to many Indigenous peoples. We acknowledge the current treaty holders, the Mississaugas of the First Credit Nation. Our stargazing and astronomical efforts join the long history and current practices of astronomy for this land. The observatory looks forward to continuing to learn and revitalizing our knowledge in this area. Now I will pass the floor on to Mona.
Thank you, Arthana. Welcome, everyone. Before we get started with our main show, we would like to give you a little update on what you can see in the night sky this week if you're near the Toronto area. Just after sunset in the northwest western sky, you can see Venus, followed by Jupiter and Mercury closer to the horizon, though throughout the week you'll see Mercury and Jupiter dip closer and closer to the horizon. Currently, towards the southwestern sky, you can see a lovely waxing gibbous moon that is tending towards a full moon that can be seen after sunset around 9 p.m. on Monday, June 29th. The star Arcturus will be one of the brightest stars in the sky this week, mostly in the southern sky. Andromeda, along with all the other targets mentioned, may be visible with the naked eye and more so throughout the week as it heads towards the southern sky. In the western sky, you may also be able to see the constellation Ursa Major after 10 p.m. With a telescope, Andromeda could be looked at with higher definition, and the Ring Nebula could also prove to be a successful target. Now, without further ado, let's introduce our lovely guest speaker.
Good evening, I'm Athena, and today we are very lucky to have Professor Hyde as our guest speaker. Dr. Elaina Hyde teaches at York University, and her research extends to the fascinating history of galaxies, along with astrophysics, data science, and astronomy education. Not only that, Professor Hyde is the director of York University's Elaina Carswell Observatory, and is a hardworking and dedicated leader, and shares her knowledge and helps students become the next generation of astronomers. From using galactic archaeology to understanding the history of galaxies and their formation, to applying machine learning and being an innovative educator. Please give a lovely warm welcome to Dr. Elaina Hyde, who shows the importance of exploring the universe in the observatory and in the data realm.
Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction, Athena, and of course, thanks to all of our wonderful students today for putting on this show. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm very happy to be talking about Astro Fair. What is Astro Fair? What does it do? I'm going to answer that question in two ways, actually. I'm going to tell you what it was, what it is, and what it could be. So at first I'm going to try to actually capture a screen share here. So bear with me, and it's only slightly off, so that's pretty good. All right, so Astro Fair 2026, as the slide says, this is one of the big events of the year. So this is going to be one of our biggest public outreach events probably for all of 2026, and it is something that we have only done one other time. I'm hoping to make this a regular event. So what's happened before? Well, last year in 2025, we held the first ever Astro Fair at York University, and the Elaina Carswell Observatory was, of course, hosting this one. So I'll tell you what happened before, what's happening now, and what will hopefully come. So this year we are going to do it on August 29th. So if you are by any chance writing with your phone right now, just go ahead and put that in your calendar. It's August 29th, 2026. Last year we actually did something totally different. So I'm going to go to the observatories page for 2025. So 2025 was an interesting year because this was an open air Astro Fair. We did it outside because we didn't have a set location. And this was there was no indoor location that could fit everything we wanted to do at Astro Fair. It's an all ages, everybody invited, families, kids, academics, researchers, scientists, everyone can come, have a really good time. So that was the idea, but we were on the Arboretum parking garage rooftop and there's no cover. So it's open air and you need it to be clear. It cannot be raining in order to have a successful Astro Fair. You cannot put telescopes out in the rain, and none of our visitors would have been very happy if it had been raining either. We wouldn't have been able to set up anything. So we ran it as a first clear day event. So 1 year ago, and this is 1 year ago, so 2025, on the 26th of June, we were in the middle of a full week and a half first clear day. So every day we were checking, is it clear enough to hold Astro Fair? If yes, then you have to tell everyone, get everyone out there, have everyone who bought tickets show up. If no, you have to tell everybody no, it's not happening by 8 o'clock in the morning. Get ready for tomorrow. And so day after day after day for almost a week, we had clouds. But the range was set to a week and a half. And finally, on June 29th, we had a perfect clear day. It was absolutely picture perfect, beautiful weather, but it was really, really tough to run. And the people with tickets, some of them weren't able to come because, of course, you don't know what day it's going to be on. So it makes it a little hard. So some disadvantages. So this year we're improving Astro Fair by holding it on one day, and we're bringing back some of the biggest hits from the stations of Astro Fair 2025. This was sunspot viewing, telescopes, interactives, and to show you a little bit of it, I'm actually going to give you a short highlights reel of 2025, and this is actually a 36-minute video that is already a recording on YouTube. I'll just go here. This will work. So I'm not going to play the whole thing. We're just going to go over a few highlights from last year. If you want the entire 36 minutes and 47 seconds, this video is up on our same YouTube channel, and it's called Open Air Astro Fair, June 29th, 2025. All right, so these were the stations that we had, and we were joined by educators and outreach people and researchers from all around Canada and of course, specifically Ontario. We had folks from the Dunlap Institute at the University of Toronto. We had Space Place Canada come out. We had the Astronomy in Action planetarium folks. We had the NATS department. We got the Downsview Park, the Astronomy Club, the Dunlap Observatory, and of course, some really, really cool neutrino displays. So we had Mark David Hosal's neutrino ice cube LEDs display. So if you've ever wondered how you could possibly see a neutrino, this is an excellent one. Lots of interactives, lots of games, lots of foldables, a walkable solar system, and of course, we were all on top of the Arboretum parking garage roof. So this is where everyone was spread out in 2025. Now I'm just going to go forward a little bit so people can see some of the spread out stations and then go to our neutrino area, which is just a little bit up. And if you want the full description of the IceCube LED display, I do invite you to come back this year because Mark David Hosal and the whole crew from the IceCube LED display are coming back. This is a 1/1000th scale model of the IceCube neutrino detector. And we cannot see neutrinos, no human can see neutrinos, but if you could see them, this is how they would look like. They would be display. They actually made it such that the lights come on in the same pattern that the neutrinos interact with the actually 1,000 times larger detector. Really, really cool stuff. And of course, but just behind them, out in the parking garage in this case, we had the Astronomy in Action planetariums. So let me just zoom forward to the planetarium. And again, this is just a highlights tour because we are inviting the planetarium back. That is Ryan Marciniak, who runs Astronomy in Action, the planetarium. It's actually a planetarium company. They travel with their planetariums around Ontario and they do shows. And they have wonderful, wonderful shows. They are coming back this year for all kinds of great fun. Now, I wanted to highlight them in particular because, of course, returning fun events like this are really, really cool. And I'll just go ahead and pull up Astronomy in Action. So this is Astronomy in Action. If you want to find out more about their planetariums, their website is just astronomyinaction.com. And the neutrinos, the IceCube neutrino display, they are covered. So in the daytime, we put them under a tent and we actually had coverings on the side so that you can see the lights light up. Once the sun sets, it's no problem at all to see them. So this is really, really cool. Now this year, we're planning all kinds of things. What do we have now? So last year we had all these stations, tons of fun things, interactives. There were 3D models you could touch, lots of foldable, the interactive astronomically accurate fortune tellers, which are foldable, the coloring sheets, everything was out there with lots of great stuff people could do. And now this year, we are planning to have lots of people come back. So it is June. We only have a couple months, but if you are watching this video and it is not August 29th yet and you would like to join, come on in. So just email me. I'm the director of the observatory and I'm running the Astro Fair. So you can email for a spot in the Astro Fair if you would just like to attend. Just come to the observatory website, yorku.ca/science/observatory, and you can click on any of the Astro Fair buttons for 2026. So from our main page, it actually has a banner. Astro Fair will return this year, which is always a bit of fun. And this is the plan. Now, what might happen in the future? How many people and how many different stations might we end up with in August? Not entirely sure, but I did find out just today we're actually getting another company coming in, Soric Screens, the Ontario-based company that does flat field screen manufacturing. they are actually going to come with a light box and a set of displays to do some really cool light up displays. Now, this is neat because actually we're getting a second company who wasn't at Astro Fair last year, 10 Telescopes. They do 3D printed telescopes. And so these companies have actually hired York undergrads in the past once they've graduated. So there might be some graduates there. But it's quite fun to see outreach and astronomy and, of course, companies from Ontario coming into Astro Fair. So what we're planning and what we're looking forward to are two very interesting things, I should say, for Astro Fair. Now we have lots and lots of stations that have already agreed. Astronomy in Action, as I say, they're actually one of our first partners for the very first Astro Fair. They're the ones that helped us advertise and get Astro Fair started. They have 4K digital planetarium domes. So they allow for lots and lots of shows to be run at the same time. And we might, and fingers crossed, be able to get 2 domes this year instead of just 1. Space Place Canada is also one of our kind of regular partners. They're coming into the event as a nonprofit charitable organization. They're actually specifically trying to get a permanent planetarium restored in Toronto. So it's a little planetarium theme for both of them. The York Astronomy Club, last year they did constellation henna tattoos, and I believe they're coming back with the same, which are just, it's just henna that you can put on, and they put it on in the shape of constellations. It's really fun. You have a constellation you can wear all day. It works really great, and anybody who wants constellation tattoos can just come and get however many you like for free. So Astronomy Club is coming back again this year, and of course 10 Telescopes for the first time is coming. That's a 3D printing company. So we're seeing more and more 3D printing in astronomy, in science, for fun. And this is actually all 3 of those things. It's astronomy, science, and really, really fun. So they're coming and they're going to show off some of their 3D printing kits. And they have a lot of free designs that you can actually get off of their website, in addition to selling eyepieces and stuff like that. So really fun. The IceCube display I've talked about tons, so I won't go into it in too much detail. I want everyone to come and see it at Astro Fair. It's really great. And this is a, as I say, 1/1000th scale model of the IceCube Neutrino Observatory. It's a really interesting telescope that looks at neutrinos at the South Pole. So they actually built this detector down at the South Pole 1,000 times greater than what you'll see in person. So it's really great stuff. Now, the Dunlap Institute, they're also coming back again this year. Really, really great. And they have lots of hands-on 3D printed shapes and things you can play with. And they, of course, they've got telescopes. Telescopes, telescopes, telescopes. There are lots of telescopes at Astro Fair. So we have a partnership with Rask Toronto Centre, and they had a lot of wonderful telescopes last year. I think they're bringing even more this year. So once we have Astro Fair starting, the key night amongst you might have noticed on the other page, we start it while the sun is still up. So August and July, we still have a bit of sun at 6 p.m. So there will be able to do a little bit of solar viewing before the sun sets, and once the sun goes down, all of the telescopes that were out will switch to starry targets. So the start date time is 6 p.m. That's when you can get your first ticket, and it lasts until 11. So whenever you get your ticket, you can stay however long you want. It's mostly we have tickets set at different times just so that we know how many people are arriving. And the whole fair runs until 11 p.m. And of course, then we have to kind of pack up and get out of the way of the rest of the university. So Astro Fair 2026, lots of great stuff. I don't think I've even come through halfway of all of the awesome stations. We do, of course, have, as I mentioned in the intro to this video, a astronomer in residence program. And I would be extremely remiss if I did not mention that I have managed to combine astronomer in residence and Astro Fair, because Astronomer in Residence is a program that we run every summer with Killarney Provincial Park, where we send astronomers out to Killarney Provincial Park to run programming at the observatory out at that dark sky preserve, Bordeaux class, wonderful park location. And of course, there's lots of campers and hikers and 2 wonderful telescopes and actually a sundial now as well. So we send astronomers out there, and as part of their training, I'll just go to the Astronomer in Residence really quick. Here we go. This is the observatory webpage. So if I go to Elaina Carswell Observatory, you can always find everything on our webpage. Astronomer in Residence has everything in it. Killarney Provincial Parks and this agreement is set up with a really interesting committee. So it's myself, Bruce Waters, who's a Killarney Observatory expert, and the entire parks staff from the main staff at Killarney Provincial Park. So that's Jeremy Pawson, Sean Spencer, and Kathleen Shayer. So as part of the Astronomer in Residence program, because these skies are so dark, we get some really, really excellent astrophotography. And we get some really, really excellent, not just pictures of wildlife and stars, but wonderful posters, wonderful techniques for processing data, and of course, small telescopes that are not in the domes that can be carried around. So if you want to see any of the pictures, they're all on the website. And this is the part where it becomes Astro Fair. Astro Fair 2026 will actually feature Killarney Provincial Park as a partner for Astronomer in Residence at Astro Fair. So they're going to bring some small telescopes, possibly some posters, some interactives, some really cool stuff about dark skies, and they're bringing it into Astro Fair, which means they actually have to drive from Killarney Park all the way down into Toronto, which is a little bit of a tough go, but it should be really fun. So we have, of course, Astro Fair coming back and all of the observatory activities, our solar system, and what is coming up very, very soon. And this is a special edition item. This is one of those, it's not here yet, but in the future, we hope that this sundial is going to be created, because right now at York, they're working on an 8-meter sundial. And this sundial will look roughly like the drawing you see at the bottom left. The sundial has finished being cast in bronze, and we hope that it will be installed in the first week of August, which means that in Astro Fair 2026 on August 29th, we'll have a station at the sundial. So I'm going to go back to the map here now that I've moved my screen so that it's not aligned. I'll just fix this. Okay, that's better. So we have a combination of what's going to happen, what we hope will happen, and then of course what actually happens. Right now we are located in the Life Sciences building at York University Kiel campus. And we're located there because it's very, very close to the Elaina Carswell Observatory. So during Astro Fair, you'll be able to walk from the main entry of the Life Sciences building, which is the first star on the bottom left. And then you'll be able to walk to the observatory, which is just steps away. The only problem is it's then up on the 3rd floor. So you have to walk a couple steps and then go up 3 floors to get into the observatory. So it's not exactly handicap accessible, but all of Life Sciences building is handicap accessible. There will be an ice cream truck parked outside, and the 8-meter sundial is actually going to be the star you see on the right. So for the Astro Fair 2026, we actually have the main Astro Fair with all of our stations and, of course, the observatory station and the sundial station. And if it is remotely clear, the telescopes will be moved outside. If it is cloudy or rainy, everything will still happen, but the telescopes will be pointed at objects indoors, which is actually really fun because we can tape up some pictures on distant walls that people can look at and look at the optics and see how things work. So everything will still work no matter what. Everyone should come. And of course, we hope to see everybody at Astro Fair 2026. If you want to read more about Astro Fair 2025, it's all on our observatory website. And of course, if you would like to see more about the Astronomer in Residence or any of our other programs, I've tried to put everything up there. Now for Astro Fair 2026, tell your friends, make sure to grab tickets. If anyone from a library or community center would like a free poster, please feel free to email me and I will go ahead and go back. Sorry, last slide. There we go. We'll go back to the intro slide here. Anybody who would like a free poster to put up in their area, please feel free to just email me. And I'm Elaina Hyde, and my email is eahyde@yorku.ca. I'm happy to give anyone posters who would like, and hopefully we get lots of you out at Astro Fair and have a wonderful clear night. So rather than taking all evening, I think I should probably stop and take some questions.
Thank you, Dr. Hyde, for your talk about the Astrosphere. So I'm just going to take over the screen, and the observatory staff actually has a couple of questions for you about the Astrosphere. So, question that I have about the Astrosphere, what stations do you hope to perhaps include or maybe invite to in the future, in the upcoming years for
Yeah,
Astrosphere?
so I think I'll take this as what would be my dream station. So
Yes.
obviously everyone is invited. There's no limit to the number. Well, okay, in theory, there's a limit to the number of people we could have in, but there really isn't. We love to get as many people as we can. We'd love to get a biology station, a chemistry station, astrochemistry. Honestly, one of my favorite things about being in Canada is all the really cool space stuff going on right now. There's people working on quantum communication with space satellites. There's all kinds of great stuff, but I have to say, my all-time favorite, if we were going to do a like pie in the sky invite, and I had the email, if I had the email, I probably would email them anyways. It would definitely be Canada Arm. So I would love
Mhm.
to see like a working model of Canada Arm at Astro Fair with Jeremy Hansen there as the astronaut to sign autographs. I think that would just be so fun. So if I was putting that out there, if anyone knows the email to ask if to invite the Canada Arm to come with a 3D model or Jeremy Hansen, let me know. I think it would just be a really cool thing to have, and it would be really fun for me personally.
Mhm. Yes, personally, I'm very excited for this year's Astrofair, but if we ever get some sort of collaboration with the CSA, I would be very interested in going to those Astrofairs as well.
Yeah, well, that's yeah. I'll go every year because you never know who will be there.
Yes. So my next question for you is, what is your favorite station to visit at the Astrofair? So any previous station that we had.
Yeah, well, this is a fun one as well because there are so many cool things that people have done. Like I said, this Space Place Canada always has really neat interactives. The the Rask Toronto Center, they bring foldable planispheres, which are star charts that people can just make for free, obviously. And I loved the 3D printed models from Dunlap, and I mean, everyone loves the neutrinos. I think, the planetariums are so easy, they just sell themselves. So there's not really any stations that I don't absolutely love. Um, I am looking forward to, I will say, I am looking forward to the new stations. So the things like 10 telescopes who haven't been there before, I always love to see the new stuff. And the Soric screens who are coming for the first time. I think that's going to be really neat to see all the new things. And of course, the observatory ones. So we have a lot of stations just for the Elaina Carswell Observatory that we use on outreach. So our astronomically accurate fortune tellers, our foldable mini sundials that people can like take away with them. We've got the coloring sheets and the pinhole solar cameras, or the so it's a sheet of paper and it's a pinhole solar camera, but you poke pinholes into a pattern and then you get that many number of little mini sun cameras that you can look at the sun with. They're really, really fun. Um, and I think the one that I really sticks with me as just a lot of fun to be at and to run is the solar system walk, because we don't have the best solar system walk, but it's a really fun one. So we had many years ago stands that were made of metal that were supposed to get an actual scale model put in them and then bolted to the ground, but that never happened because we didn't have permission, I guess. And so we have sheets of paper that have been printed out in an exact scale model, with the sun being the largest circle you can draw on an 8.5 by 11. And it works really, really well with a string. And the students always help to draw with sidewalk chalk for the whole length, all the way out to Saturn. And it's really cool. I love it. It's fun to walk through, and walking through the solar system when your planet Earth is like the smallest little dot on a piece of paper is really always super fun. So I always kind of go back to that one, and I was actually already thinking maybe I should reprint those sheets of paper and make a new version. So favorite, maybe not better than anyone else, any other station, but I do always keep coming back to it.
Yeah, it sounds like there's going to be a lot of exciting stations to see. So that's really good. I will pass it off to Athena now for her questions.
Hi, Dr. Hyde. I just had a question. What inspired you to study about galactic formation and galaxy formation and galactic archaeology?
That's a good question. So, I I had a lot of various things that I studied over my career path. And it is true that sometimes you need to go and do something that you don't like in order to find out what you do like. And so I had done a lot of work in engineering and mechanics and electrical engineering. And I started to miss working with telescopes, and in particular, working with stellar data. So when you look at a star, there's different ways you can look at it. You can look at its spectra, which is the light sort of split out by a prism. You can look at it, which is with what we call photometry, which is basically like the picture you have in the background here, which is just this is what the field looks like, and then maybe I've put like some kind of filter so that only blue light comes through or only red light comes through. So that's photometry. It basically creates this picture in a specific wavelength range. It's maybe not the best description of photometry, but looking at stars and trying to untangle their property with photometry and spectra was something that really, I don't know, got under my skin. And when you start looking at stars with spectra, you can ask a lot of questions like, what are those stars made of? Where do they come from? How did they get there? What kind of groups are they part of? And when you start looking at groups of stars, very, very large groups of stars in our own Milky Way galaxy and outside of our Milky Way galaxy, then you're talking about things that are getting to the origin of how galaxies are made. And that was just really cool. So I kind of went about it a little bit sideways, because I was actively looking for projects that involved studying groups of stars and stellar spectra. And I saw a PhD program in Australia that was doing that with galactic archaeology. So that's what really got me into galactic archaeology, is it sort of was aligned with my interests at the time. And once I had done an entire PhD on galactic archaeology, I was really addicted. So um, this is what happens when you work on it for like 3 years really intensely. And now I love looking at groups of stars and trying to look at how their behavior is connected or isn't.
That's so cool. Nice.
Yeah, we should do some galaxies at Astro Fair.
Definitely, yeah. And sorry, my next question is once more about the Astro Fair. What advice would you give to someone who's hosting a station for the first time to make their station unforgettable?
Yeah, so everyone hosting the station has some fun thing that they're trying to share with the world. And I think that's the important thing to remember is something like Astro Fair, it really is for everyone. So we have things for little kids, things for big kids. Doesn't matter what your age is, you should be able to enjoy it. So if you're trying to create a new station at Astro Fair, think about what you can create that everyone can enjoy and put your research front and center. So, for example, the neutrinos are extremely technically complex. And to study neutrinos requires a very high level of physics. So you could talk about the neutrinos and show really accurately how they're interacting, but by making it visible and visual, everyone can see it and everyone can enjoy it. Nobody needs to know the physics to enjoy it. The physics is there, it's solid, but you don't have to go into the math. And so I would say avoid any calculus, like long calculus derivations. Don't stay away from that. And think about, you know, what is your research? Is it galactic archaeology? Is it neutrinos? Is it instrumentation? Is it something that can be built or something that can be experimented with? And then look for ways to make it accessible to everybody. And there's a couple really fun ways you can do that, which is one term that a lot of educators like to use, which is gamification, which is how do I make this a cool game that everyone can participate in? And I always like to say, like, if anyone wants to use one of our foldable templates, those are great because they're just origami, really. So it's a paper you can fold and interact with, and you can make a rocket ship, you can make a fortune teller, you can make a sundial, and all the astronomy and facts are there, but you can just have fun with it if you want to. So maybe the key is just having a lot of fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. Thank you, Professor Hyde.
Mhm.
So I'll go ahead and ask a couple questions now. First of all, thank you so much for such an informative presentation. I'm just really excited myself to go to Astro Fair now, just because of the amazing things I hear about, like the neutrino and the ice cube display that you mentioned. That sounds really cool. But pertaining to that, and you did answer this a bit while talking about Astro Fair, I wanted to ask you, what was the inspiration or the reason that Astro Fair was started, and then connected to that, what are your hopes and goals for it in the future?
Yeah, so I'd love to see Astrofair keep going and get bigger. And we've already talked a little bit about how bringing everyone together was just this really cool idea. But there is actually another reason for Astrofair, one that kind of pushed it over the line and made it happen. And that's that we really needed the funding. So this is our only major fundraiser of the year. And so Astrofair actually directly funds our student honoraria and all of our extra high school and grade school tours. So for high schools and grade schools that would like to come in and they can't donate to the observatory for any reason, we want to try to give them tours. But you can't always do all the tours for free with only volunteers. You need to have some kind of hours. So in order to create those hours and also make repairs to the observatory, things like fixing some of the old electronics. There's a CCD that desperately needs to be replaced on the spectrograph. Um, there's all kinds of little things that need to be repaired and fixed around the observatory. So it would be basically repairs and student hours and getting a little bit of capacity to do some fun extra projects and things like student ray positions. So for example, if Astro Fair got big enough and we raised enough funding from it, then we could even have an entire extra student ray position every term. That would be amazing. So I think, from my perspective, I'd love to see it get big for lots of reasons because it's awesome. It brings people together. It lets us share our collaboration with our colleagues, but also there's some direct benefit to the observatory and, of course, all of our students, which I'm sure the crew will be pleased to hear.
Yeah, for sure. That's a very fair reason, and it makes sense. And it turns out so awesome every year. And a bit of a different question, just about yourself, if you'd like to explain. I know that you teach many of the classes at York as well. You're a professor as well as a doctor of um, uh, astronomy. So I wanted to ask, in your experiences, what has been a class that you've loved to teach most, and for what reason?
Yeah, so I think everybody has a favorite class, a class they've taken that was their favorite, and a class if you ever had to teach one, a class you've taught that's your favorite. At York University, you don't usually get to pick what you teach. So you could get assigned anything. So imagine you're a physics student and your least favorite subject was electricity and magnetism, but you finally do it, you get your PhD, and then you're assigned to teach electricity and magnetism. That happened to me, so I was like, "Oh dear." It went well. You don't get to teach it unless you're an expert on it. So but it wasn't my favorite thing to teach for sure. And so the class that I really, really love to teach is the one that I proposed to the university and actually created. And that's a data science class. So in my other hat, as a researcher, I do a lot of what's called data science, and that does involve the keyword of the day, artificial intelligence, and I'll use some quotation marks, artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence has a lot of different meanings, and when you have coded your own individual AI routine from scratch to do a specific task, it can be very, very efficient at pattern detection, at doing things like finding the edges of shocked gas, specific things like that that you code directly. That's the kind of AI that I like to use. And so I try to teach students all the tools that I wish I had had. So when I was doing my PhD, there were so many things I didn't know. I didn't even know Python when I started, so was way behind. And now, even as an undergrad, if you don't have good coding tools and you don't have good access to some of the basics, things like easy catalog access, easy Python codes, all the statistics basics, and of course, the machine learning basics, the regression models, the clustering, the grouping. All these things are pretty easy tools to grasp once you have them. And if you don't have them, you could be stuck for months or years on data processing problems that would be a real stopper for your research progress. So my goal with my class was to I want to give students everything I wish I had, all the really important stuff, all the really cool stuff, all the really fun stuff. And I think I called it data science for physics or science or something. So that's my favorite class because it's literally everything I love to use when I'm doing my galactic archaeology with those stellar spectra. But it's for everything. So people who go into industry, who go into engineering, who go into finance, all of those tools are recognized and appreciated across all kinds of careers. So even if people choose to go into something other than physics after they graduate, it's still going to be really, really useful for them. So that's the other reason why I like teaching it. And I am going to get to teach it again in winter, so this coming winter, so 2027. So yeah, just FYI, that's my favorite one.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. You made it sound so interesting. I'm excited. Maybe I can take it. Um,
Yeah, well, I hope lots of people take it because I think it's super, super fun, and that's why I like to teach it. And if anyone is interested in finding out more about it, I can send them like the class notes, and I believe it's technically listed as a third year class.
that's awesome. Thank you so much. I'll pass it on to Shreya now.
Hi, Professor Hyde. Thank you so much for your informational presentation. And just a quick side note, I would love to take an action for that course you're talking about. We'll definitely have a chat afterwards.
Awesome.
So I guess my question for you is who can be included to help out with the Astro Fair? Specifically like volunteers or anybody specific like that?
Yeah, so volunteers across the board are heartily welcome. Anyone who is volunteering, any undergrad student, any graduate student, anybody at all, if you're willing to volunteer and either do setup or pack up and one shift at one of the booths, um, you will get a free ticket, my dearest appreciation, and we will add you to the team. If you are a high school student or someone who is under the age of 18, we do need your parents or a guardian to like approve you to come because there's some permissions that have to be signed there. But we love to have people in, and last year we got all kinds of helpers from all kinds of places. We had volunteers from the community. We had some undergraduate and graduate student volunteers from York. We had some student volunteers from University of Toronto. We had one student volunteer from University of Waterloo. um, so everyone in theory can help out, but you do need to have time and capacity to be here on the day for the event, and you need to be motivated enough to email me.
Right, awesome. And then my next question for you is I think it kind of relates to Arthana's question in the beginning. What station was the most craziest or even the most interesting you have seen or been to in the history of Astro Fair?
Yeah, so I think the one maybe craziest would be the one that had the most trouble managing its line. So in all the stations, last year we were spread out on the top of the parking garage roof, and so there was enough room for people to kind of walk around. But what happened was the planetarium turned out to be a little bit of a bottleneck because everybody wanted in the planetarium like immediately upon entry, and we're like, no, 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 walk around a little. So, because it was all open air, there was no like path that you could set where people could start out at one end and walk to the other. So this year we're actually having the life sciences building lobby, which is kind of a rectangle, and so people come in one entry and then they walk through all the booths. So I'm hoping that will avoid kind of the lines and the crunch in the planetarium because each planetarium can only fit a certain number of people. And so if a group of 50 people comes in all at once, somebody has to wait. So uh, the craziest station for Astrofair was probably the planetarium, and I will give the craziest station outside of Astrofair was probably Doors Open Toronto, because last time we ran Doors Open Toronto, we had 1,000 people or more. So we lost track at 900. We were counting them, and they were all going through the observatory domes only. So we only had the observatory dome station. That was the only one we had, and we had literally 1,000 people coming through over the course of probably like 5 hours, and it was constantly people going through. That was really crazy, and that's when we learned we need to spread people out. So again, Astrofair will have lots of stations, and so people will be able to spread out throughout all of the stations, you know, the Sork screen station and the neutrino station and the astronomer in residence station, and they'll be able to walk up to the observatory and go out to the sundial. So even if, I mean, I would love it if 1,000 people came. I don't know if we'll get 1,000, but you're all invited because there's room for you now. We can spread you out around. So I think that if you go for the craziest, it would be like really long lines. So we're trying to avoid that by having a better design this year.
Right. I bet those were very much teachable moments.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, awesome. So, well, everyone, you have been listening to the Elaina Carswell Observatory's weekly TeleTube broadcast, the Astronomy and Astrophysics program, written and presented by the students, faculty, alumni, and friends of York University. The hosts this evening have been Arthana, Athena, Mona, and myself, Shreya. Make sure to leave any comments or questions in the comment section of the video now to talk with us in the chat, and we will be around for the next few minutes to answer all of your questions. And all of our programs are free, but if you would like to make a donation, please see our website at yorku.ca/science/observatory/. You can always connect with us on PixelFed, Facebook, and Instagram, and check out our website for show notes, content, update, and contact info at yorku.ca/science/observatory/. Thanks for tuning in. Clear skies and have a good night, everyone.